So my name is Jordan Glover. I am from East Atlanta / Decatur, Georgia. You have to be specific. I obtained my bachelor's degree in forensic science with a concentration in biology at the illustrious Savannah State University, the University by the Sea. I took an extra year after I graduated to get some extra research experience at the University of South Carolina in their prep program, the post-baccalaureate research education program. And now I'm here at North Carolina Central University, obtaining my PhD in Integrated Bioscience. Why I chose to pursue a PhD in the field of Integrated Biosciences, it was the fact that this program focused on health disparities and that it was at an HBCU. It was a little difficult finding other HBCUs that offered PhD programs with focuses on health disparities, especially in minorities. Of course, there were schools that looked at health disparities, they had labs that looked at that, but it wasn't the focus. And that's why I wanted to come to an HBCU that had that focus. What were strategies I used to get into my PhD program? I always tell students, anyone wanting to get into a master's program or PhD program, there are three things that you need to have when applying. Three things. You need to know your program, know the program focus, not just, again, what labs they have, but what is the overall program focus. So as you're writing your personal statement or your personal letter, you can mention that. Know the faculty and their research. Again, the second thing is your personal letter. You want to know your why. You want to state your why. Why do you want a PhD? Why do you want to be in the sciences? Why are you choosing this particular field to study? And then how does the program align with your why? How does it make sense for you to be here based off of what you want to do and why you want to do it? And then in your personal statement, how your background in research has prepared you for the PhD. How has what you have been studying, things you have learned, prepared you for the journey of a PhD, because at the end of the day, it's a journey. And then the last thing, you want to have strong recommendation letters. Your recommendation letters, you want people who know your work ethic, who know your moxie, your determination, but also knows your personality to mention, to at least state something like that. In addition to your personality, you want someone who knows your potential, who can talk about where they see you going, how you would fit into this program. And yes, you don't want anyone whose class you were just in, you got a good grade in their class and they can say you did well in their class. You want someone who knows you to the depths. How did I discover that studying obesity in African American communities was my passion? A lot of people start out by saying like, oh, I've always known that this is what I wanted to do. It took me a little bit of time. I kind of waited a little bit late in my undergrad experience to start getting research experience. And I graduated right on the onset of the pandemic. So my research was kind of cut short. And so it took that extra year at the University of South Carolina to realize, hey, this is what I want to do. I realized I did want to do obesity because that's where my project started in undergrad. But what parts of obesity, how does this connect overall? And then in my African American community, how does it affect us? We know a lot of metabolic disorders and disease states affect us disproportionately compared to our other ethnic counterparts. But obesity seems to touch every single one of them. It seems to exacerbate every disease, just about every disease, I won't say every, but just about every disease that we are plagued by as African Americans. And so going through that year, doing the research, getting in the literature, seeing and meeting people within my community helped me realize, okay, this is really what I want to focus on. I also wanted to be a comforting face in the African American community as a researcher. Aside from being an African American, I wanted other African Americans to be comfortable with research. So when I got here to Central, the lab I was working in, they did a lot of community work. And I could see how the impact of me being a Black researcher, what difference it made versus other research institutions who just came to get their samples and that was it. And so that's how I ended up with my passion being health disparities, but specifically looking at obesity. Where do I see myself at the completion of my program? I'm absolutely going to do a postdoc. I'm not sure where. whether it's going to be government, industry, or an academia postdoc. But I definitely want to do postdoc to get a little more notoriety, a little more for my name, a little more currency, publications and things of that nature. I'm not exactly sure where, but that is the goal. What were the benefits of attending an HBCU doing my undergrad and my PhD? Number one, community. The community, being around people who look like me, who talk like me, who act like me, who are interested in the same things, for the most part, that I'm interested in, made this process and journey, because it's definitely been a process and a journey, it made this a little bit easier. It gave a sense of belonging where, sometimes at the PWI, you don't necessarily get that. I did, again, my year at the University of South Carolina, it was kind of hard making connections outside of my the cohort that was in the program with me. And so being at another HBCU, wherever I went, whether it was in my actual department, financial aid, registrar's office, it was, we want to see you be successful, so how can we get you there? And even the other scientists and researchers here, it's not just about the science. They care about the person. They care about the science, of course, but they care about the person that's doing the science as well. And so it was very clear that they had a desire for my success at both schools. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk. I hope that some of this information is beneficial for anyone listening, anyone that is planning to get a master's or PhD or just further your education in any way, shape, fashion, or form. I hope that this has been beneficial.